My name is Berkley Alexander. I was born in Rosebank.
All right, and in previous times, what were you involved in? Were you involved in farming? What sort of profession were you involved in?
My extracurriculum was cricket really. I never farmed, I never had land as such, so.
Uh, where were you born? Were you born
Rosebank.
Rosebank,
Yeah.
right, and you grew up,
Grew up in Rosebank, yeah.
okay,
I left Rosebank in 1965
1965.
to come to school, to live with my mother in Kingston and go to school.
Okay. Tell me a bit about your parents and their names and their occupations.
Okay, my father's name was Berkley Alexander. I never knew him.
What about your mother?
My mother's name was Amabel Alexander.
Okay, and also from Rosebank.
All from Rosebank, yes.
Rosebank, right. Tell me a bit about your brothers and sisters, your siblings, if you had siblings.
My parents had 4 children. My sister was the eldest one, and it is her name. Then brother Jimmy and Carlos and me. I'm the last one of the lot.
Okay. And what were they involved in? Were they farmers? What sort of professions were they involved in?
They were not farmers. We didn't have to, I said we did not have lands to work, so they were not farmers. We grew up as normal kids in the village.
Okay.
Attend school and do the normal things that children would do.
Okay. And later in life, what sort of professions they ended up in?
My sister ended up as a nurse. She went to England and she's a retired nurse. She's a nurse, still living in England. She's a retired nurse. My eldest brother Jimmy, he was involved in he's an electrician. And Carlos, the next one, he was a carpenter, a joiner. Both brothers are deceased now.
Okay. So just you and your sister?
Sister, yeah.
Okay. What about, tell me now a bit about your family, your children.
My family.
Yes, your wife,
I
children.
am married. The 11th of May will be 40 years since I married.
Wow.
I have 2 children. One is an accountant. He's working in the Turks and Caicos.
Mind giving me the names?
Bertram Alexander is his name.
Bertram.
And Nadia Alexander is his daughter's name.
Okay.
She's working with the Football Association here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one daughter, one son.
Yeah.
And they all grew up in where you're living now in Annisfield?
They all grew up in Annisfield. My son was born in Petit Badel.
Okay.
His mother is from Petit Badel. But he grew up with my mother at Gibson Corner.
Ah.
Yeah. And we moved to Annisfield in 1985. So he came to live with before that. My wife, before we married, she was living in Canada.
Okay.
So as soon as she came back, we get married, and my son came to live with us.
Okay. You mind telling me their ages? How old they are?
My son was born in 1978 on the 3rd of October, and my daughter was born on the 2nd of February 1987.
Okay, so they're both very mature individuals now in life.
Yeah, yeah.
What about grandchildren? Do you have any grandchildren?
I have 4 grandchildren.
4?
Yeah, my son has 2, which is a girl and a boy, and my daughter have 2 boys.
Ah. And they're in school and
Yes,
all of that?
they're in school. My first grandson is from my daughter. Currently he's in Form 4 in the St Vincent Grammar School.
Ah, okay.
And the second one, he is about to do his CPA in next month, in this month, May.
Yes, a few days, I believe, from the
A
time
few
of
days,
this
yeah,
recording,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And the other 2, they live in Trinidad.
Ah,
My son is married and lives in Trinidad, but he's working in Turks and Caicos now.
okay. Right.
So the first one for him, the girl, she's in, both of them in secondary school, both of his children in secondary school in Trinidad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Let's talk a bit about your extended family now. Your uncles, your aunts. Did you know their names? Were you familiar with them?
Yes, on both sides?
On both sides.
Okay. So let's take my father's side. My grandfather's name was Alton Alexander. And my father was the first child for them. And his wife's name was Enid Alexander, formerly Enid Bacchus. And my father was the first child. And I don't know how much children they had, because when I was born, I heard that some of them died and so on before I could know them, right? So I know for sure that an uncle of mine by the name of Hamilton, he went to England and he died.
Okay.
Then I have I had an ex aunt named Shirley. She went to England. She also died. She died in 1994.
Okay.
And I had an uncle. He also went to England. My last uncle, he died about 2 years ago in England.
Okay.
His name was Gerald. And I had an uncle, Sandy. He never left St Vincent. And Uncle Kenneth used to sail. Then he stayed off in America. He died over there too. And I had an Aunt Katie. Katie and Sandy never lived St Vincent.
All their lives here.
All their lives here. Katie looked after her mother, pet. And then I have one aunt alive. She lives in England. She would be 94 on the 6th of July this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's on one side, or
That's
that's
on
on both sides?
One side.
Okay, now on your
My mother's side.
Your mother's side, right?
My mother father was name was Luke. He said he was in World War One. I don't know how true that is. And he was a black Carib,
Ah, okay.
but my grandmother's an Indian.
Okay.
And
That's from Rosebank. They were from Rosebank.
yeah, Rosebank, all from Rosebank. They had 5 daughters. They have no son. My mother was the second of the 5, and all 5 are deceased now. My mother was deceased in 2002.
22.
Yeah, and my aunt, the first one there was an aunt of mine. She was just about 50 years when she died. She died in 1977.
Wow.
And then the eldest one, she used to live in England, came back and lived in St Vincent, and she died here. And the youngest one died in 2016. And then the last one, I don't know if you know what Maury Wiley, lives in Lacroix.
Sounds familiar.
Well, his wife was my aunt. He died about 2 years now.
Okay.
That was her name. So all the siblings, the only sibling I have, the only aunt I have is a Violet. She lives in England. And as I said, she's 90s, 94, 95, somewhere there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So you mentioned your grandparents, and your grandfather said he fought in World War One. He fought in World War One.
So he said,
Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Do you know anything about your great grandparents? Though, did they ever tell you about your great grandparents?
I know very little of my father on my father's side, which his name was Katik.
Okay.
We used to call him Ba in Rosebank.
Okay. And he was of Indian descent.
Yeah, he was blind before he died.
Okay.
And I never knew his wife.
Okay.
And but I understand his wife's name was Sarah Huggins, originally from Georgetown.
Huggins. Okay.
Huggins from Georgetown, yeah.
Okay.
Sarah Huggins was her name. And my father had one child before he was married. So he's the first child of my father. His name was Bentley. He's deceased now too.
Okay.
So
that was also in Rosebank.
Rosebank, everything in Rosebank. Yeah.
Rosebank. Okay.
Yeah. I only come to live in Kingston because I started school, and my mother, after my father died, my father left and went to Guyana, and he died in Guyana.
Okay.
He died. He went away before I was born, and he died over there.
Okay.
So I never knew him.
Okay. And did you ever hear any stories from your grandparents, per se, or even from your parents, about things that they learned from India, stories that they heard, things that were passed on? Did you ever get any of these stories?
Not
or
really.
Traditions?
Not really, because those days, the relationship between grandparents and children was not like now. I mean, it's like when you live in Rosebank, like any other village, you go to school, you do a little homework, eat, then you go to bed. You had no TV to watch and so on to sit down. You had no family time as such, And then your grandparents too, they want to go sleep early. So Indians always want to go sleep early and wake up early.
Right. So there was never sort of a passing on of
no, not
any long time stories or any traditions from India or anything.
No.
Okay. And do you think this was the same for other Indian families in Rosebank at the time?
I think generally yes.
There wasn't an important thing about
Whatever
sharing that information.
whatever they did not see it important for us to learn
Right.
history, you know.
Right.
You know, because what I do know is that my great uncle, which is Bill Bacchus, he said what did he say? He said give some stories, but I think a lot of them are made up stories, you know, for us to little boys and laugh.
Folktales.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
See, like one time he said they had 5 brothers. One was blind. One was naked. One was deaf. One has no hand. And one had no foot. The blind man see a bird. The no hand man shoot it. The naked skin one take it and put it in his pocket, and the no foot man run with it. So we had to come up with an answer with that for that. So he said, "Well, a little young for me to tell you when I get older. He never tell us." So I believe it's some fabricated thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe there's something to,
Yeah.
to get you interested.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when your family, as far back as you know about your family, they were always associated with Rosebank.
Yeah.
You didn't, you're right, okay.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that many of those who are your great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents maybe worked on the Rosebank Rose Hall estate at that time.
What I learned is that my great grandfather cut it. He was the man who cut the roads going to Leeward.
Ah.
He
That
called
was
it-
manually, there was no machine.
No
then?
machine manually, all the corners,
Oh, wow.
and then he was a road overseer. So he ended up, I don't think he lived all his life in Rosebank. He went to Rosebank
Okay.
and made a family there. Because he was married and had, let me see how much daughters, how much children I know. Gertrude, Ellen, Linda, Ethel. He know 5 daughters and 2 sons.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the sons was my grandfather, Alton is his name,
I'll tell you.
and the other one was Jimmy.
Okay.
I never knew him. He went to he went to America
Okay.
and died. Never came back. I only heard the name, but I never knew them.
Okay. So those okay.
Yeah. The thing is that some years ago, Jimmy's daughter, a lady came to St Vincent and said he's Jimmy's daughter, our granddaughter, and she was trying to do a family history, and he found that Jimmy was from St Vincent.
Okay.
So he came and he stayed by Lloyd Bacchus in Cane Hall, and she said she was coming back. Unfortunately, she died. She didn't come back.
Oh.
Otherwise, we would have get some history from her.
So she was tracing the family's
Yeah,
history.
yeah.
Okay. What do you remember most about growing up? Your younger days in Rosebank, and you spent most of your life.
My
in Rosebank.
Rosebank days was like, as I said, normal boy days. You go to, we have a sea bath because we live in
You
the
live by the
sea.
sea.
And we go to school. We had to go to Chumaka school. We'll play our cricket. In the evening, we had to do our homework before it get to dark. And go to sleep. It was routine. And then my great uncle, which was Bacchus, he had some land. So we used to, when we get vacation, we used to go to the lands and so on, to pick plums and so on, mango and so on.
And back then there was no electricity at that.
No.
It was
Really.
a kerosene lamp or
Kerosene lamp.
or candles.
Yeah, a candle. Mainly kerosene.
Mainly kerosene lamp.
Rosebank got electricity in 1962.
Okay. And you grew up there around was it in the late, and what time frame, what years you grew up around that Rosebank area?
I grew up all my life in Rosebank, you know.
Right, and you were born in, remind me, you were
Born in Rosebank,
what year?
1954.
Right, so the first few years of your life, Rosebank did not have electricity.
No,
yet.
not yet, yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
those years is what you spent
Yeah,
with the kerosene lamp,
yeah,
getting the homework done
yeah.
before it's dark.
yeah. So you had to do your homework when you come in from Chumaka to Rosebank. We do our homework in the road. So by the time we reach home, we have a little time to play our
And you
cricket
had a
and
lot
so
of
on.
walking to do from Chumaka to Rosebank.
Well, that was stone for those days. I mean, we used to do it 4 times a day.
4 times.
Yeah, which was in the morning to go to school, back for lunch,
Back for lunch, yeah.
back up, and back again in the
Did
evening.
you still have an hour for lunch in those days? when
Yeah,
you walked home?
yeah.
Okay, so within that hour you spent most of it walking
Walking.
home for lunch.
And we used to reach back to school before 12:30 to play our cricket before school calling for 1
Oh,
o'clock.
wow.
Yeah.
So how long did you take to have your lunch? 10 minutes, 5 minutes?
Well, let me tell you something. The Indians in Rosebank, when you see, like, they catch the same with you, they get a fresh fish.
Mm.
When we go to school in the morning, they don't have the fish done clean season up. They start
Right.
cooking up.
Okay.
By the time you reach home, you eat your food cold enough to study about hot. Your
Okay.
food, and then you run back up. So that's why they always cook early.
Mm.
When we reach from school 3 o'clock, sometimes at 3:30 we got in our dinner.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
when it's everybody is going to sleep early.
Yeah.
What time did you wake up in those days? Is it like 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, about 5:30.
5 o'clock.
Because say about 5 o'clock. Because what happened to is that, like, now when the days when daylight saving is more, you tend to get up earlier, you know.
Mm.
And sometimes we gotta get up early to go to the bay to get fish
Right.
to cook before, because them days you never study meat and so on, fish,
Right.
you know.
Tell me about some of the things you remember most from your childhood. Some things that you still remember today when you look back. That would forever stay with you.
Boy, I can't remember so much of that. Let me see now.
Was it the days by the beach, after on a weekend when you go and
Yeah.
take a dip in the salt and
Well,
have a little fun?
we had to bathe. We used to bathe in the sea practically every day.
Okay.
We would bathe before we go to school in the morning. Just come rinse off by a pipe and go to school. You know.
Okay.
One of the memories I had, and I never forget this. One morning I went to the bed in the sea, and they have something called sea thread.
Sea thread, yeah.
Sea thread stung me,
Uh-oh.
and well, I didn't take it for nothing. While going to school, I fainted.
Uh-oh.
The district doctor at the time was working. The Rosal Clinic was his day, so my cousin took me to Rosal Clinic. Only the doctor said, nothing is wrong with me. I didn't do my homework, so I afraid to go to school. Yeah. Not I never forget that.
So the doctor said it was because you didn't do your homework
Yeah.
why you
Yeah.
took ill.
Dr. Robertson was his name.
Okay. So I'm guessing you got a good beating for that
No.
Oh.
I was sick 'cause the doctor was not wrong, because we used to do our homework. 'Cause he just said I don't want to go to school. Yeah.
Alright. But I'm sure you had good memories, but there may have been some times when things were a little difficult. Do you remember any of those days?
Yeah. Well, difficult in terms of family for me and my siblings.
Mm.
My mother, I used to see my mother every Sunday.
Just Sundays.
Just Sundays. What happened in our case? My father left and went to Guyana. Left me with my mother pregnant with me.
Mm.
He left her in his grandfather's house, which is James Alexander, I used to call Ba. As soon as he left, I understand. I didn't born it, so I can't say, but my sister told me that Ba run my mother.
Okay.
So she had nowhere to live. She ended up, my grandmother now, which is my father's mother, he ended up being sympathetic to her and gave her one room in the house. I remember the room, my porch was bigger than the room.
Mm.
So the hardship we had. I used to see my mother every Sunday, as I said. It's like she would, we used to dwell in Dark View. My other grandparents were living in Dark View, which is close to Rosebank.
Mm.
So we would eat there, but we had to go sleep in Rosebank because my grandparents had a one-room house, hall and chamber they call it.
Yes,
Eh?
that's what we call Hall and Chamber.
Yeah. So then we had to sleep in. I remember 5 of us used to sleep on one bed,
Mm.
and that bed was brought from Aruba. My parents went to Aruba.
Okay.
I have a brother named Jimmy. He died now. He was born in Aruba.
Okay.
He's the only one that's born in Aruba. So that bed that they brought back, when the bed in the room, you take up the whole room. 5 of us, my mother and the 4 children, my own. And then sometimes we had to sleep crossway
That's for everybody to fit.
to fit. Yeah.
Okay.
But I just say I don't have the life I came up with. I have no regret. I think poverty made me strong. Poverty teach me to care things and to appreciate things, Because when I see people wasting things, it just hurt my heart,
Mm. Because you know the struggles.
Yeah,
growing up.
yeah.
Mm.
Even my grandchildren, I say, boy, I don't want to think. I don't know.
Hmm.
But as I said, I'm not complaining, you know. But I had a hard. We had my mother. Not we. She ensured that her children go to school. My mother, I said, I don't know what sort of economics they study
Hmm.
because they have money, but if school closed to the Friday, Saturday morning they send to buy your books.
Hmm.
Make sure you have your books, you know.
You're putting away something
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a little, a little penny, a
yeah.
little
Those
penny.
days, is your English book, your reading book, and you might got student companion. And when you go higher, you get your little geography book and your little
Mm.
atlas and so on, you know.
Mm.
Yeah. And I remember my brother and I end up in the same class
Okay.
because I got skipped and he just passed, so I end up in the same class. So my mother said, listen, all you're not sharing books, you know. You gotta get your own book. Yeah. So I appreciate half of that, you know. I love my mother, you know.
Mm.
She
Some,
always,
some good memories.
yeah, my sister told me that while she was growing up, a cousin of ours, a cousin of our father, asked her to come to England.
Mm.
And she said, no, she's not going to leave in her children. If she had to sleep on the tree with them, she would do that, but she's not leaving her children. You know?
Mm. But if you were to change anything about our homeland, St Vincent and the Grenadines, Rosebank, wherever, what would you change? What would you do to make it a better place?
I really don't know. Let me tell you something. In growing up in Rosebank, it was very racial in Rosebank. Although it was a very small village, the Indians and the Negroes always have something against the Indians. Because my mother catch you backside with them, you know.
Mm.
She was not fully Indian. But they didn't when she got married and thing they didn't like it.
Mm.
Other Indians who get intermarriage and so on, they didn't want that. So in Rosebank, when you see Sunday time, right?
Mm.
The Indian people would go and look for the karaili,
Mm-hmm.
the little eggplant, and then they say, coolie people love bush, only bush them eat.
Mm.
So when I'm here there and I see them now discuss them, I say, the same bush all of the coolie people just eat all, killing all themselves. So that racial thing exists in Rosebank, you know, until recently because they have much Indians down there now.
No.
So, you know, and then they whatever Indian intermix and so on, you know. But if I had to change anything, you know, I would say the politics of this country need to change. And then I remember when I was a little guy growing up, we had Labour Party and PPP.
Mm.
And you see they cuss and they won't fight, but they cuss and thing. Soon as election done, they back to friends and neighbors and they're good friends, but now they hold it for life. This party thing, they hold it for life. I know I think, and then the other thing I would like to see is that again, nothing wrong with education, you know, but we're focusing too much on education and forget about the skill worker. When I used to go to school again in Chumuka, they had what they call a woodwork shop. I remember a fellow Sutherland from Sandy Bay was the man who teaching there. And a number of people came out to be tradesmen from that school because the base was there. They were not educationally inclined. And those days when even though you pass if you pass, they never used to say common entrance. They used to say entrance because grammar school had their own entrance. St. Martin had their own entrance, Emmanuel and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you pass, you had to come to town, you had to have some family in town to stay because you couldn't go down every evening. The transportation wasn't there and some of the parents couldn't afford it. So the thing is with that, I would like to see that to change what I was about to say now with the education system there.
More unskilled.
Yeah. I remember, and this ain't a joke, you know, my brother, the one older than me, he was in class 5. Me and he was in class 5. And the teacher, the boy couldn't write. If you see he write, the teacher asked him to get a small line book, you know what they call small line to copy.
Yes.
When he left school, he excelled in his trade. Bad joiner. I was academics and so on, but somehow I regret I didn't learn a trade. So we have a problem with tradesmen in this country. That is what I would like to do.
To
If
see more of them.
and then to see them more educate themselves, because what happened. When if you're a tradesman and you're not academically inclined, once you learn the trade, you pick up the academics faster, much faster, because your interest is there. We have a problem here is that, for example, if I call a tradesman here now and say, listen, I want to tiles this place. Tell me how much tiles. He just watch it and give you an estimate. He don't know the measurement to measure length by breadth, what the size of tiles and so on. We need more of that. I think the government is trying to do certify people, but and if we don't do that, we're going to lose our trade men. If we concentrate too much on the academic side of it and not on the skilled people.
Okay.
Because when that technical college was built over there, the Prime Minister at the time, Mr. Cato, he built that school for dropouts from primary school, so that they could go and learn a trade. But now you got to go 6 and 7 trouble to enter there. So that is what I would like to see. I would like to see our tradesmen up themselves, and then we have we have people here can walk, but the finishing work too is not here.
Okay.
That's one of the things I would like to see change.
Right. Do you know about the Indian Heritage Foundation? And if so, how much do you know about the organization?
I know about it, but not. I only came in later because what happened one evening, Denzel Bacchus came up here to Junior. Junior is my neighbor. Dr. Bacchus is my neighbor. He's my neighbor. He's right there in living.
Okay.
So me and he was so. Because when we were in Rosebank, we used to train 2 yards to play our cricket.
Okay.
So because, as I said, his mother, his grandfather, and my grandmother are brothers and sisters. So they got those lands from our great grandfather, which is called Katik. So he said, "Man, let me go. We have meeting." So I just go along with him, and then every time they put you on a board, you want me to come. So that is how I think. But I get a few things from by going to meetings, not very much meetings. And after he died, I give up. Because I don't have any transportation.
Okay.
I don't like to humble people.
Okay. Right.
But I would like to be. I would like to be more part of it to occupy myself now.
Right. What would you like to see the foundation accomplish? Some of the things you like to see them do, connections, etc.
I would like to see them reach out to more people and people. We have a lot of Indians overseas based, and we could extend. Like we have an ambassador. A lot of people in New York. We could get some, because I had a cousin, but he died. Suddenly he died last year. I was about to reach out to him because he had a lot of history from his head, a guy Roberts. So, and they have a lot of them in England. And if we can get together and the people form the organization there, we can reach a line, and financially we would have strength, because people here don't even pay up their dues.
Did you enjoy sharing your story and this at the chat?
Yeah, man. I always like to
Alright,
I appreciate this very much. I don't know if I was of any help to you.
Yes, very good help, and it's good to hear about all the family connections and who's related to whom. But what we're going to do, we're going to now edit this. We're going to take out any mistakes or anything and put it up on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, so that those overseas can see.
Find their own that's good, because what about those people in England? I mean, you have
yes, we have a few, and we've done a few of the interviews in England. Yeah, but you're okay with us doing that, right?
Yeah, because a lot of the Indians went to Parkhill when they settled when they leave Argyle,
Yes. All right, but as we wrap up, let me thank you. Anything else you'd like to add?
There's a picture of my grandmother. I sent it to Cheryl.
Okay. All right. Let me see if the camera can pick it up. Okay. All right. We're gonna try to see the camera. Oh yeah. So that is your
grandmother.
Grandmother.
Yeah, on my father's side.
Okay. You should be able to at least see your face a little bit there.
Yeah. I have a picture of the only thing I know of my father is a picture.
Ah, okay.
Gallery picture. This is a picture of my mother and father.
Okay. So let me see if I can. It will show up if I try to bring it closer here. Oh yeah, so that's your mother and father.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, so for those who will see this later, they'll be able to see if these faces look familiar.
I don't think a lot of them will know that.
All
'Cause
right.
he went away since 1954 and died, never came back.
Okay.
So I have an extra one with him and his on Sullen in the Rosebank uncle.
Ah,
He's from
okay.
Guyana. The tallest one is my father, and that's Noel Sullen, that's Beresford Sutherland.
Okay.
They're cousins,
So that's
and that was taken from in Guyana. They went to Guyana. You lost it? You find it
no, I
back?
have it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we try to see if we could zoom in here.
Mm.
Okay, so that's the tallest one is your father.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But as you say, you don't know a whole lot about him.
No,
because
I
he went
don't.
to Guyana.
I don't know anything about him, except he went to Guyana and died over there.
Okay.
But he was a teacher before. And
Okay. All right. Well,
you-
thanks for sharing those with us. I'm sure.
you know, a guy, a cousin of mine, Charles, who died now. He said his grandfather, which name was Ba, named him Oxford because he wanted him to attend Oxford University,
Okay.
and he had the capability, you know. He
Okay.
was a bright fella, you know.
Okay.
And,
Alright.
I have an next picture for you.
Okay. One more. Okay.
One this. This is my uncle. His name was Hammy. He went to England and died. He died pretty young.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I see the resemblance here.
Yeah.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is
His name was Hamilton Alexander.
Hamilton Alexander.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, very handsome fellow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So those couple of pictures there, are some of your closer relatives.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thanks for sharing your story with us today. And
Well, as I said,
it's a pleasure.
I hope. This is my brother before me, the one just before me.
Oh.
His name is Carlos. He died.
All right.
Yeah.
This is Carlos.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
the joiner.
Ah, okay. All right. So folks can see the face there. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's good that you have all of those photos so you can keep those memories.
Yeah.
Always good to have those photos of those who've gone before.
Mhm. Well, I don't think he'll take this one. This is a picture of my aunt, my mother's sister.
Sure. All of the photos. We love to show.
She
Love to show the photos that you have.
uh,
Let's see.
she died young too. She died in
Ah.
she died in 1977.
19. Oh, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. That's what's her name?
Avril.
Avril.
Avril Matthews.
Avril Matthews. Okay.
Yeah, and I have a picture there of my cousins. Who I happened to bounce it up the other day. Less than 2 weeks now. He was a Mackenzie. He's my cousin, and he was married to my aunt.
Okay.
And these are three children.
Your children.
This
Okay.
that I bumped up that picture there when I was cleaning out somewhere and see them.
Ah.
Because that's a picture when they take the passport picture when they went to America.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's him there.
Yeah, Cecil is his name. Yeah,
Cecil Mackenzie.
yeah,
Oops. Right.
yeah.
And those are his
Children,
three
yeah.
children.
Yeah,
That's three of them in this case.
three of them in this case. Yeah. Two of them died. The two boys died,
Ah.
and he died
Get
also.
it closer. To the blood. That's okay. All right. Yes, and that's one son there. Daughter above there. And
Uh-huh.
another son in the corner there. Okay. Those are some good memories to still have.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just recently have them in my daughter to tell me to keep them, but
Yeah.
I don't like to clog up my phone and everything.
Oh man, it's good to keep those memories. Alright, well thanks again very much for sharing your
Man,
story with
yeah,
us.
no problem.
Alright.
As I said, I hope I was of some use for you.
Yes, yes. It was a pleasure. It was good getting these insights and seeing those photos from you.